Today we're talking about breaking down a lake as a kayak tournament angler. Now that's different than breaking it down as a boater because in a bass boat you can go anywhere on that lake quickly, but in a kayak you're limited on how far you can go and how fast you can go. Now I've had a lot of success mapping out these lakes and studying these lakes this way. And so I'm going to show you my way, what I feel is best, but it's important that you take the other videos out there, take that knowledge, put those puzzle pieces together so you can find a way to do it that you like, because this is going to be your study for your tournament, but I like to do it in this way, and I use 3 different tools, and then I mix in some other elements as well. So I'm going to show you my screen today as I go through a lake study, and I'm going to show you kind of a short and quick version of how I get started on studying a new lake. So let's get to it.
All right, so we're on Navionics here, and the goal is to do this as quickly and efficiently as possible. Now, you need to take a lot of time on your map study, but you want it to be efficient. And so the goal of our video today is to take you through the different steps quickly and efficiently, because you do not want to waste time on your map study. You need to really see what's there and what works and what you can do, and then you need to keep making progress in your lake study, no matter if that's YouTube or fishing reports, so that you can put the different puzzle pieces together. Now, I have Navionics up here, and the first thing on Navionics I want to show you is these little rectangles here, and these rectangles are half black, half white, kind of like split in half. And what these rectangles show, they show the boat ramps. And one thing you need to keep in mind, and we're at Green River Lake here, sometimes on these lakes, the boat ramps will not be real boat ramps. I've seen people put them on their own personal docks. I've seen people put them on areas where you just slide your kayak into the water. You need to make sure it's a real boat ramp, or at least an area that you can actually use. There are people that will put their kayaks in on just the side of the road or some kind of little public fishing area. But today we're going to talk about the real boat ramps. And so you need to look for them. Like this one looks like it has 3 different boat ramps listed, but I know this one for sure, there's only one ramp here. And you can go to menu and map options and click satellite. And our internet's pretty slow here, so it may take a minute for it to show up. But when this does show up, you will notice there's only one boat ramp. And so people have added these in here. And so it's important just to understand what you're actually looking at. Right here, it looks like we got the Smith Ridge boat ramp, and that's at the Taylor County Park. And so we have a ramp here, and I'm going to turn my map off just so it loads quicker. The first thing I'm going to do when I find a boat ramp is, let's say this is an area I like. Everybody knows how to look at the different contours and to look at the lake on Navionics. People know that already. So let's say I like this area of the lake and I found a boat ramp. I'm going to take this little tool in the bottom right and I'm going to measure some things. I'm going to take my dot and put it at the ramp, and I want to measure how far away everything is, because we are in kayaks. You cannot go 70 miles an hour all over the lake. So most people are going to have a range of 3, 4, 5, maybe 6 miles. And so we need to make sure that I can reach different parts of the lake from my ramp, and that it takes a reasonable amount of time. And so to this part of the lake, it takes about 1.5 miles. To the back of this, looks like 1.5 miles. And then, I'm going to bring it out here. And then I'm going to extend it up here, and you got about 1.7. And so it looks like from this ramp, I can cover all of this part of the lake and more. And so now that I know that I can cover that part of the lake, I'm going to switch over to a different tool. I've looked at everything here. I see the contours. I see the submerged bridges, the road beds. I see the little the hot spot symbols. I see that. I'm done with Navionics for this part of it. Now what you're going to see is Google Earth, but it's not just Google Earth. It's very important that you have Google Earth Pro. Do not use the Google Earth that you have on Google Maps. While it's valuable on a cell phone and when you're looking at things quickly, if you're looking at a true lake study, you need Google Earth Pro. It has different tools you can use. It's just a lot more detailed, so it is worth the time to download that. It's free. So I use Google Earth Pro. The first thing on Google Earth Pro is similar to what we did on Navionics. I'm going to go up here to this measurement tool. It says add path, and I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to go over to measurements here. And I'm just going to measure the true distance to some of these different areas. Because on Navionics, it shows you a straight line. That's kind of like your quick way to do it. But now I'm looking at, how long is it actually going to take me to get to some of these spots? And what you'll notice, some of the bigger lakes out there, you will have two creek arms that look close together, and in reality, they are 5, 6, 7 miles apart. And that may not be something you want to do once you find out how far away they are. An example here, if I want to go all the way to this northern part where this 76 bridge is, I'll click my path button, and I'm going to actually run the bank there where I would probably normally be, kind of the route I would normally take. And I'm going to find out that it's actually 4 miles away to get to that bridge. If I did it the Navionics method, I'd be doing just like a straight line, and that's only 2 miles. And so sometimes you really need to check out your actual path you would be taking, because you do not want to be surprised on practice day or tournament day. Let's say you did all this research on this section up here. You did all this research up here. And let's say the closest ramp is down here. Well, you may not want to go 4 miles. Maybe you thought it was just 2 miles. Maybe you thought it was a little shorter. And then you find out as you're working your way to that on your actual practice day, this is too far away. I spent all that time and I don't think I'm going to go to this area. Now, 4 miles is not very far, but just as an example, you need to know your true travel time when you're in your kayak. How far is it going to actually take me to get to these spots? The Navionics tool is really valuable, but the Google Earth tool, you need that. You need to really know how far away things are, because that's valuable time in your day, especially on tournament day. So when you are on Google Earth, first thing I usually do is I'm going to go down to that ramp, and I want to make sure the ramp is actually a legitimate ramp. We talked about this on Navionics some, but I want to make sure there's parking. I want to make sure there's no, obvious gates. Maybe I need a restroom facility, so I may be looking to see if there's restrooms there, buildings there. And so I just want to kind of know what I'm getting into. It's dark out when you get to these ramps, and you just want to make sure wherever you're going, you know that it's the right spot for you. And then depending on the time of year, you may be in a pre-spawn type pattern. If you're in a pre-spawn, the Navionics is going to be where you spend most of your time looking at just stuff offshore, just little points. But if you're in more of a shallow pattern, if you're looking for shallow fish, maybe it's spawn time, maybe it's, summer and you want to fish shallow. Here's the key, and this is why I use Google Earth Pro, is this little clock button right up here. This is the timeline of all the pictures they have taken of this lake. And I'm going to go back through the timeline until I can find one that is a drawdown. Some lakes are not drawn down very far, but usually they have to do repair on the dam. Sometimes they lower these lakes so people can do maintenance on docks. Most likely, if you go back in time far enough, you will find an image of the lake very, very empty. And right here, that's what we have. And so you can see all this stuff. I got some drier sections. I got a little channel here. Obviously, you have the actual channel with water in it. And you got creeks coming in here. And this is one of the most valuable things. I got all these points here. A key part of Google Earth Pro is that you can mark different waypoints here. You're going to click this little pin up here. Let's make our clock go away. Looks like we'll have to go back. You're going to click that little pin, and when you click that pin up there, you're going to move the crosshairs on whatever you want to mark. Let's say I want to mark the very end of this point. Do not do the mistake that I did and actually put the needle part on your object. I don't know why it's like this, and I think you can change the symbol. You can change it to different things, but still, you need to make sure the crosshairs are on your object. And now I'm going to label that. I'm just going to make it point number 1, something like that. And then you click OK, and you can save it. And you have different options, different different little things you can add to it. But now I have that point marked. And there are videos out there, and I may make one soon. There are videos out there that show you an easy way to take these Google Earth waypoints and put them on your fish finder, your Lowrance, your Humminbird. You can put these on that fish finder so that you can go and fish these areas. An example is whatever this little black dot is like a log or something. Maybe I want to fish that specific log. I can mark that, and now I can actually go out and fish that. And that's something that is not on Navionics. That's not on a lot of maps. You need to look for these draw down images. You're going to find transition areas. You got chunk rock here. You got some, looks like some smaller rock in here. There's a log down there. You got some bigger rock here. You can see where it transitions to dirt or some kind of clay. The drawdown image is one of your most valuable tools because you can see what is actually laying on the land. And another thing you need to do when you are doing your map study, you need to turn the map so that you are looking into these creek arms. And the reason you need to do that is because when you go and fish these creek arms, that's your perspective. That is how you're going to be viewing these creek arms. And so it will help you to really process what you see if you are seeing it from your usual perspective. And so I will always make sure I change around these different things here just so I know what it's going to look like as I go into it. And obviously you can do the same with the lake, full. Now, if we go over here, another example, this is a pretty plain looking section. There's not much there. And as soon as we move to a drawdown image, all of a sudden you have, it looks like there's maybe like a bridge. You have all these little channels coming through, these little drains. Right here's another one. You can really mark a lot of stuff on the drawdown image. And make sure you mark that stuff and put that on your unit so that you can see real time when you're on the lake. You know that there's something under there because you actually marked it. Now, the next tool I'm going to use it's kind of how you wrap it all together. And so we're going to move to that one. On Google Earth here, we covered, making sure your ramp is good, making sure your distance is good, the different types of images you can use to see the lake. And so make sure you take all of those step by step. So I actually moved down to a different lake just because I needed a better example for this video. I'm at Barren River Lake now. But I'm on Google Maps, just regular Google Maps. You can see, now you got some icons for this marketplace and the state park. The reason I'm on this is because I'm using Street View. The key with Street View is you get a real image of what the area looks like. And some lakes do not have good images. You really need lakes that have bridges. You need lakes that are popular because the more popular the area, the more likely the Google person is going to drive down all of these roads. But let's just take this 31E bridge. Now, you saw what it looks like on Google Earth. You saw what it looks like on Navionics. So we're going to take the little Street View guy here, and we're going to put him on the bridge. And now I can actually see what this lake looks like. If I drove over the lake, that's what it would look like. And on your bottom, the bottom of the screen here, the very bottom, you'll see the image was taken July. So this is what the lake looks like in July. And you'll see some lakes, the image was taken in January or December, and you're going to see a drawdown lake. And so this is what this image looks like. And there are settings on here, and I believe on Google Earth, where you can go to Street View and actually change to some other time periods where they took images. Because the Google car may drive over this lake once every 3 or 4 years, and it's going to take an image. So you may actually get like a drawdown picture. And you can make the guy right here really big, and I might take him to the other side and kind of look, see what's over here. I might, it looks like there's a lot of land here. Maybe I'll zoom out. And basically, you just want to explore on Street View. You're going to explore on Street View and see what the lake actually looks like. One thing on Street View that can get challenging is you can't always zoom out as much as you want. But I'm going to go to this bridge over here, and I'm going to look at this section of the lake. And now I can see what it looks like in here. It's all about getting as many clues as possible. And if I can drive over every one of these bridges, that's going to give me more information than if I didn't. You know, I can see there's a log down here. I can see it's a little rocky. There's rocks here. I can see how wide this area is. And so you can almost do a little bit of some scouting work just on Google Street View. And so when we look back on all these steps, you have 3 different tools: Navionics, Google Earth Pro, and then you got Google Street View. So you can really look at the contours of the lake. You can look at images, earth images of the lake, including when the lake is empty. And then you can see what's actually on the dirt in a lot of these shallow areas. And then you have the power at these lakes to actually drive over these lakes and see what they look like. And then it's all about just putting together all these puzzle pieces to pick out where you want to fish. And remember to use your measurement tool, so then you even know how, can I even get to this area? Okay. It looks like the Google person went down, they went down to this marina here. And you can use this tool. We talked about earlier making sure that you can even use a boat ramp. A lot of the times you can use Google Street View and you can, quote, drive by these areas and you can see some of the signs. I've seen signs on boat ramps that tell me there's a fee or tells me it's closed. And so it looks like the person went all the way out to the very end. And so I can check out all these different places and just so I can see what I'm getting into. So I know exactly what's going to be going on. You can look for restroom facilities, all this stuff. You need to know every square inch of this lake as much as you can before you get there. And these 3 tools are the best way to do it, in my opinion. Like I said, take some of the other videos out there and use them so you can do your lake study the way you like. But this is something that has got me a lot of success in tournament fishing, studying like this. These 3 tools. You can match it up to YouTube. You can see some landmarks in the background, maybe on some YouTube videos. Maybe you see somebody fishing in front of a unique house on YouTube. You can go on Google Earth and you can find that unique house. You can go and look for that. A lot of times you can see these different houses, something unique about them. Maybe there's a swimming pool between the house and the lake. Like this house is all the way on the end. This house, it looks like it has like a white silver colored roof. You can find all of this stuff, and you can find spots where people are fishing if you match it up to what you see on YouTube. I've used the Google Street View, the little yellow guy. I've used that to actually find places where people on YouTube were fishing. And so This is a relatively quick way to do it, but it does take a long time to break down the whole lake. Most important thing is eliminate water. The best way to eliminate water in a kayak is figure out just what you can reach. What can I even get to? Why look at an area if it's 8 miles away from the closest ramp? You're not going to be fishing there. So all things to keep in mind. If you made it to the end of the video, I appreciate it. Make sure you subscribe, and I will try to get some more content up as we go through the season and try to get some better sound, audio, video equipment as we go. So make sure you follow on Instagram, and I will see everybody next time.